The Dallas Cowboys have made a lot of moves this offseason. They added 2 veteran players that should make an impact in Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. They released one of the team's biggest names in Ezekiel Elliott, along with other guys like Dalton Schultz. Then just a week ago, they took 8 players in the 2023 NFL Draft. So we'll likely see a little different group of guys than we did in the playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers. But one position group will be vastly different than what we saw just a couple of months ago. The running back room. That position has been almost completely overhauled, and if it wouldn't have been for the Cowboys franchise tagging Tony Pollard, we would have a complete rebuild in the backfield. But Pollard stuck around. They signed Ronald Jones from Kansas City. They still have Malik Davis along with Rico Dowdle. But then they went and drafted a 5'5" running back out of Kansas State who led the entire nation in production, Duece Vaughn. We've all heard the feel-good story about his dad being a Cowboy scout, but now it's time for the coaching staff to find out where he belongs in this backfield. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, along with what a very important figure in the Cowboys front office had to say about his role. So let's get into it. An ugly game in San Francisco got even uglier when Tony Pollard went down with a brutal leg injury, ending his season and pretty much the Cowboys' playoff hopes. He had his surgery and appears to be back on that leg, rehabbing and preparing for the 2023 season. There is no doubt that when he is back fully healthy, Pollard is going to be the #1 guy for the Cowboys. Last season was his breakout campaign where he rushed for over 1,000 yards at 5.2 yards per carry with 9 touchdowns. So when he's back healthy and hopefully back to his normal self, Pollard is going to get a good bit of that Cowboys workload. He showed the ability to take more carries and be the featured guy. If all goes well with his injury, I think we'll see the same playmaker from 2022 that could bounce outside, break tackles, and score big touchdowns. Pollard is making nearly $11 million in 2023. On the other hand, you have 3 guys behind him making 1/5 the money Pollard is combined. So it's going to be interesting to see how the team views its backfield. Ronald Jones, Duece Vaughn, and Malik Davis. All 3 of those names have something about them that is intriguing to complement Pollard. Before we continue, only 4.5% of you that watched my last video were subscribed. We're trying to hit 20,000 before training camp, so if you could, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Ronald Jones brings that big body that can win on the goal line. Malik Davis brings the ability to make one cut and get upfield. But Duece Vaughn is the one I want to focus on in this video, because he brings explosive plays from all over the field, not just at the running back position. The Cowboys drafted him in the 6th round about a week ago, and the only reason they got him there is because of the height. Everything else screams a top 2 round running back. In 2022, Duece rushed for 1,500 yards on 5.3 yards per carry with 9 rushing touchdowns. To add to that production, he caught 42 passes for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nearly 2,000 yards from scrimmage at Kansas State, which is absurd. So we know he has the experience. He carried the ball 651 times in college, but where does he fit in this offense? Because if you look at it, aside from the height difference, Vaughn and Pollard are very similar players. Both are shifty, they can catch the ball out of the backfield, and both lack the body type of your typical bruiser running back like Ezekiel Elliott. Well, I think with Mike McCarthy now calling plays, the team is going to make it a priority to run to the outside. Something they did very well last year with Tony Pollard, and that's something that Duece is exceptional at as well. Vaughn will certainly get his carries inside and outside, but I think the most underrated way he is going to be utilized is in the passing game. As I mentioned just a second ago, Vaughn caught 42 passes last year, some out of the backfield, but a good bit of those coming from the slot. And I think that's what Will McClay, a longtime figure in the Cowboys front office, was hinting at with this comment. McClay said, "The #1 thing is getting a guy that can win in space, create their own space, and do explosive things. Adding him as a weapon was a huge deal. You can run your regular offense through him." I may be totally wrong in reading the tea leaves on this comment, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to view him as the solid running back 2 behind Tony Pollard right now. I think they view him as a multifaceted threat that they can move around, throw the ball to him, run tosses to the outside, just get the ball in his hands and let him create big plays for the offense. A Darren Sproles type player. So to conclude this video, I don't think the Cowboys are going to view Duece Vaughn as the clear-cut #2 behind Pollard. But I do think they're going to try and get the two of them on the field together. Whether that is with Duece in the slot, Pollard in the backfield, both lined up in the backfield together running routes, jet sweeps, however they choose to utilize the two of them together. So when training camp rolls around, don't be surprised if you see Duece lining up in the slot a lot. The Cowboys are certainly going to be trying to figure out where he fits in this offense and how he complements Tony Pollard. With the two of them together, it brings a lot of potential for big plays and easy home runs for the offense. I can't wait to see how Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer carve out a role for these two together. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I love you all. Bye.